Hi, this is Patrick Hunt here. It's the 9th of April today, and what I wanted to talk about was propagating seedlings outdoors. Um, you can propagate lots of flowers and vegetables, from your windowsill in the kitchen down to the polytunnel, but now it's the 9th of April, it's actually quite possible to do a lot of propagating outdoors. Um, so here's an example of one I did a couple of weeks ago. This is Ragged Robin. It's a wildflower that I've propagated in a pot of a mix of 2 parts compost, 1 part sand and 1 part grit, and that allows really good drainage. So what I did is I filled up the pot and then sprinkled the seeds on top of the mix and then covered it over with grit, and I put that at the north side of the house where it was in the shade. And if you think about it, a lot of seeds are quite happy to germinate under the shade of other plants, because that's how they normally would grow anyway. They'd have to be opportunistic and while they're small, push their way through to the light. So they've germinated quite well, and at this stage now these plants are ready for pricking out and putting into individual models to be grown on as plants that then will be plugged out into a meadow situation. So that's an example there. Now what I'm going to do now is just show you how for example, you can use modular trays. These are fairly deep modular trays. I suppose they're about 2 inches in depth, and I'm going to do some seeds. So later on in the summer I've decided to grow this one. This is Teutonia Torchlight from Sarah Raven Seeds, and to do this, if you start off with something like that, fill it with your mix of 1 part grit, 1 part sand and 2 parts compost, organic peat-free compost if you can get it. So I'll fill that up like that, level it out at the top just by hand. A big bucket is great for this, so you can just sprinkle the excess back in. And then what I'll do then is just tamp it down like that. A couple of taps on the table is enough just to settle it that little bit, to give you a little bit of depth for sowing. I'll just check now that there's no pockets in it. Just tamp it down a little bit more. Not too much, I'm not compacting it as such, just enough to help it to settle a little bit. So then with the seeds, if we look in here, they're fairly large seeds. I done a sowing of these there a couple of weeks ago, so this is just a second batch. So what I do then is I take the tray like that. They're modular trays, which means it's going to be easy for pricking them out afterward. Not so much pricking out, but I'll take the whole module and pot up the module. That's partly why I'm using the modular trays in this case. So I'm aiming for 1 or 2 seeds in each section. There might be a few more in some, but it doesn't matter as long as I've got 1 or 2 in each. So I've literally just laid them on the surface like that, and then what I'll do is I'll take another tray that's the same, and I'll just lay it on top and just give it a little press so that there's good contact between the seeds and the compost. And then I'm literally now going to just cover that with pure grit. I'm not even going to bury the seeds, because when I water it there'll be a little bit of disturbance anyway from the compost. So I'm just going to cover that over with compost, with the grit like that. Again, do it over a bucket, any excess will fall back into the bucket. And then I'll water that really well, so put it down to the tray down here, and for watering then swing over and back like that. Camera woman getting soaked. Over and back like that a few times, and because of the grit that will help to reduce evaporation losses, water losses, and you start to see the little seedlings come through. And the beauty about having the modular trays is that I don't need to prick them out. What I'll do is pot up the modules once the root system has developed well enough into that. And what I'm finding with this system, using the grit and the sand, you get fantastic root structure. Like, you get really well developed roots because they're hungry, they're going looking for nutrients which aren't there, so you're keeping them sort of slightly starved. And then when I do pot them up, I change the mix to use a general purpose compost, peat-free again, and that starts to feed the plants, so that then they start to fire on, and they'll get really, really big really quick. And at that stage then you could move them from the shady north side of the house where they've germinated into a more sunny aspect that you might have somewhere around your house, and then they could be planted out sometime in May after the frost. So that sort of method there, I would apply that for lots of different sorts of seeds. For example, the ones I'm going to be doing today would be some cosmos, some sunflowers, some clome, one I'm trying as well, some tagetes, zinnias, other bits and pieces like that. So it works for a variety of seeds. And vegetables as well can be done in the very same way, all outdoors, taking advantage of I suppose the warmer weather that we have at the moment. So I know it might seem a little strange to do it like this for some people who are used to using normal compost, but it really does work quite well. The stones actually help to heat up the soil, so they hold on to heat, and the fact that then they're laid down on a concrete footpath, there's a bit of heat coming from that as well. So it's that heat that drives germination. So give it a go and see how you get on. Thanks very much.